posture hold. So this is our fundamental setup when we look at all of the sprint techniques. We go through a bunch of A series, we're working on vertical drills, we're working on horizontal drills. So this is the foundational piece that I think gets overlooked a ton, and people don't emphasize the technical aspect of this. They kind of just go through the motions, and then we see their ability to have good body awareness and positioning diminish as they move into more of the applied drills. And so the whole point is to get really good at your postural awareness, kind of sequence your joints a little bit better, and then become more efficient at hitting the ground. And the better that you can kind of align the joints, become more efficient at hitting the ground, and the more that's going to propel you in that horizontal direction, which is what we're after. So we like to use external cues when we're setting this up. So one that gets that I've heard a lot of other coaches use is, we're going to go from the side here, is I'm taking my fingers, I'm going to put them on my hip bones, and when I bring that leg up, I want to focus on essentially pinching my finger with the front of my hip. Now if you get too high, your thigh gets above parallel, I don't want to get in too much detail, but essentially we want to get that thigh to be about parallel with the ground, and I want you to think about pinching your fingers with the front of your hips. Second one is, if I put an egg behind my knee, as I pull up, I want to crack the egg behind my knee, and then I want to be able to hold a paint bucket with my foot. So a lot of times, as I fall over here, a lot of times people will load up like this, and then their foot's pointed at the grass, and then when they go to hit the ground, they're going to land on the front half of the foot. We want to get in the habit of keeping that toe cocked up, so when we come down under our hip, there's 85% of my foot is hitting the ground versus just my toe. That's going to allow me to load into dorsiflexion, which is the toes up, and that's going to create a little bit more of a spring to propel me forward. So when I'm doing a posture hold, I'm going to go fingers on my hips, I'm going to go up to the top position, hold, come back down, opposite side, hold, come back down. And the idea here is, you'll see from the side, I'm keeping the stance leg straight, nice and tall posture. I'm not leaning side to side. I'm not having excessive weight shifting when I go to transfer legs. And then I'm not leaning front to back. And again, that bottom leg is staying straight. So my bottom leg is locked out, top side thigh is parallel, transition to the opposite side, and I'm moving in and out of those points. Common compensation patterns we'll see is people really getting that bottom leg bent. So when they come to the top position, their knee is bent, they're not getting it straight. We will see the legs start to drift forward up top, the toe point, and then the hip not getting up to where I'm pinching my fingers, or essentially getting my thigh parallel to the floor. So summarize tall posture. You're trying to crack the egg behind the knee, trying to hold the paint bucket with the toe, and you're trying to pinch the fingers with your hip flexors on the front of your hips. How long you hold the posture hold, it really varies. When you become more of an isometric or a longer hold, typically that creates a little bit more postural awareness. So a lot of times we'll start with a 3 to 5 second hold and then progress from there. And then we can do these stationary, or we can do them kind of moving. So in place is, I'm literally just in place, as it sounds, going through doing a posture hold. And then I can kind of transition them to more into like an A walk, which would be moving forward. But if I exaggerate the hold position, then it's kind of like a posture hold, but I'm moving forward as I transition forward. So we start with them in place, 3 to 5 second holds, and then we start moving forward with really exaggerating that hold as you move forward. And when you add that forward motion into the posture hold, a lot of kids will try to reach way out in front of them, and then they'll strike with their foot out in front of their hip. That's a braking force. We're trying to avoid that for now. So really, you don't cover much ground, because my foot's coming forward maybe 6 inches relative to my opposite foot. Opposite leg comes up, foot comes forward. So you're not covering a ton of ground while doing that.